Good evening. Good evening. Welcome into episode number 27 of some Tiger Talk with some Clemson gentlemen. And we'll start out tonight by the same way we always do. Jeff, how was your week, buddy?
Man, it was good. It was good. Had a great week. Another short week for me at school. I was off this weekend at the middle school conference down at the beach. So I was off Friday and spent yesterday doing some education stuff and a little bit this morning before coming home today. So it's been a good week.
Yeah, we had every, every at the end of every month, the last Friday of every month, in the school district here, they do a half a day. So on that Friday, so uh, we were kind of pretty much out half a day, and thank goodness they didn't make us do too much after the kids were gone. So, um, well, you know, eh, gonna start out tonight and ask y'all to, if you would, to keep a good friend of mine in your prayers. And it's funny because this podcast is what created that friendship. Um, Back before before Christmas, just before Christmas, I reached out after listening to some old stuff from the Tiger Tailgate show back in the day, back in the '90s. For those of you that are old as Jeff and I are, you might remember some of that time with Hurricane Dwayne Evans and that crew. Man, it was funny, it was fun. It wasn't so serious, before each game. And I wanted to find out from Hurricane Dwayne if there was any way that we could use the the some of a snippet from Tiger Tales, at the end of the show to lead us out, with the outro video. And after some email, I mean some messages on Facebook here and there, and talking to some people on the phone, I finally was able to get in touch with his brother. And his brother called me. Phil called me and had a great conversation with him. He told me that that I'd be getting a phone call, whether it was right then or a little bit later, because Hurricane Dwayne was actually at the time trying on his Santa suit for his grandkids. And I'm like, okay, hey. So I did get the phone call from him. Had I think I've told Jeff this, but had an almost an hour long conversation with Dwayne, and loved every minute of it. He kept saying, I just got one more story for you, Freddie, and then I'll let you go." And I'm like, dude, you keep right on talking, because I'm we talked and talked and talked. We talked about mostly Clemson stuff. Well, um, we've gained a friendship over that, texting back and forth. And I've been sending him the podcast every week when we get finished, and I text it to him. And saw a post on Facebook this past, over the last couple of days, praying for Dwayne. And started doing some research into it, and finally talked to Phil this morning. And they are asking for prayer. Around February 3rd, um, they found out that Dwayne had a brain hemorrhage. And he's been on pretty much on life support since February 6th. And he did say that they feel like they're seeing some improvement, which is a good thing. But he did tell me that the one thing that they need right now is as much prayer as they can get. So um, we'd ask that if y'all would join us in prayer for Hurricane Dwayne. For those of you that don't know who he is, I would suggest going to TigerNet, and you can go to Hurricane Dwayne's, I think it's attic or closet. Anyway, they've got all of his music on there. And in the coming weeks or month or whatever, you're gonna probably hear, as we come on, some of his music coming on, and of course some of Tiger Tales going out, because he gave me permission. I can't say enough great things about it, because he gave me permission to use whatever songs I wanted or we wanted to use on here. So, and that's what we want. A little bit of a light, you know, um, show, not anything too serious here, you know.
Yeah.
So, and with that said, we're gonna go on with the show as Hurricane Dwayne would say. Um, Start out with football. You know, Jeff. We were talking a little while ago about um, spring practice is completely, in full force. And just being honest, I have not been able to keep up with it as much or read up on it as much as I have. I know that Coach Morris is very happy with a lot of the young players. He's pleased with that, which is a good thing. I I saw where Clemson Insider did an article on how they plan to use the new running back
Yeah.
out of the portal. I'm looking forward to reading that article.
Mhm.
Jeff, how about you? What sticks out at you with
Well,
spring practice so far?
Well, the first thing, Freddie, let me reiterate what you said about Hurricane Dwayne. Definitely, I encourage everybody keep him in your thoughts and prayers going forward, and hoping for a good recovery for him. But as far as spring practice, yeah, this is time of year where those guys will get a chance to do some things that are in preparation, certainly
Mhm.
for what's upcoming. Um, it's good to see that maybe some things are changing, some habits are changing, and a lot of times, Freddie, you and I both know that your younger guys are a little more moldable.
Yeah.
They're able to fall in the line maybe a little faster. The buy-in is sometimes a little faster with those young guys compared to maybe some of the older guys. But I've got all confidence that Morris will bring everybody along, and they'll be singing from the same sheet of music here in a few weeks.
Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that they haven't gained the bad habits of older players yet? Is that what you're saying here?
That's exactly what I'm saying, man. That's exactly it. I saw some things talking about some of the bad habits that had come about on the defensive side of the ball, and it takes a little bit of time to work through those. As a fan last year, I was hopeful that we'd see some things week one, week two, but it wasn't until later in the year that we started to see that change come with Tom Allen coming in and holding those guys a little more accountable, and maybe the transfer portal took care of some things there as well.
Yeah.
And we may see the same thing on the offensive side. It may take a little while. Now they don't have long to get it together because you're looking at week one at LSU, but um, it may take a little bit of time.
Oh yeah, I agree. I totally agree there. Um, you know, you say that, and you bring in help from and I'm gonna step into what you said a minute ago about the transfer portal. You
Hmm.
bring in help, okay, to help TJ Parker out, and it still blows my mind that TJ Parker, it from all accounts, the only great game he had was against South Carolina, but yet now he is, the standout at the combine, the standout at Senior Bowl. I mean, it um, makes you wonder a little bit more about, you know, and I hate to say it this way because I'll be the first to tell you, I was looking so forward to TJ Parker coming back, Peter Woods coming back. Now, and I'm not saying anything bad about Peter Woods, but it you know, I was very, very disappointed in TJ Parker's output this year.
Hmm.
And whether it's true or not, it would make you wonder if the rumblings that he wasn't playing up to his ability trying to save himself for the draft, and it makes you wonder. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying that, you know, there's any fact there. It doesn't help if that makes sense. When people are looking at it, and I hope it wasn't true. Let's put it that way.
Well,
So
we're on the outside looking in, Freddie, and we can only see what we see on Saturdays. We don't get to go and look Monday, Sunday through Friday at what's going on, and we don't get to see this time of year.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, as a fan, it does make you wonder.
mhm.
Now, uh, will we ever know? Maybe
Yeah.
not.
I hope
Maybe
not.
years later, somebody may come back and that has some credibility in it, that was
Yeah,
in the building on a daily basis, and they may tell the story of what happened with this past season. I don't
mhm.
know, but you just see what's in front of you. You see what's there, and
Yeah.
our eyes don't lie to us very often, my friend.
No, no. Even when we don't want to see what we're seeing.
Yeah, yeah, you're exactly right.
So, um, you know, all right, Artavis Scott, he had some comments about the speed of practice. I know you and I were talking about that earlier
Yeah.
too. What do you think?
Well, one thing with Chad Mars, there was some people that were not happy with him being brought back on board. You, you know what the expectations are, good, bad, right, or wrong. You know what he's going to do. It's
Yep,
going to be fast paced. It's going to be this way, and I think if nothing else, whether defenses have caught up with his schemes or not, he is going to hold people accountable if they're not doing what they need to be doing.
yep,
So in a lot of ways, maybe a blast to the past, it may be good, especially if there were accountability issues on the offensive side of the ball, as some rumblings have come out. Um, I, Good or bad, right or wrong, I think he'll fix the accountability part of it.
yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I have said so many times, you know, we would watch Cade, okay, and you would see Cade, look bad, so bad at times, and then they would go into this hurry up offense, and he'd look like, you know, he wasn't having to think, you know what I'm saying,
Yep.
and he was letting it, and I was like, why don't they keep doing that? And then all of a sudden, we're back to the same old man.
Yeah.
So I'll be the first to tell you. I'm not going to tell you that I want to see you know, the speed offense. 99% of the time. But I ain't gonna tell you I wouldn't like seeing it at least 90% of the time. Um, let the defense, you know, step up and get you the ball back. You know,
hmm Well, and that pace of offense works good as long as you
Mhm.
can get a few first downs
That's right.
and put some wear and tear on the defense. It goes bad when three and out, three and out, three and out, and then you're putting your defense in a difficult spot. So
They're gonna have to be able to feed off of each other
yeah,
and complement each other.
and
That's for
that was
sure.
always I thought Brent Venables' defenses, they played hand in hand with Morris. Uh, Venables always looked early on to create negative plays, put the
Yep.
other side behind the eight ball, and work through like that. Um,
Mhm.
now, Goodwin, when he came in, we saw fewer and fewer of the negative plays. Hopefully, Tom Allen will be able to play complementary football
Yeah.
um, with his defense and with Chad Morris on the offensive side. So,
Yeah. I agree. I look. I have been, and don't get me wrong. I am enjoying basketball. I'm enjoying baseball, but
yep.
I have been looking forward to seeing some football stuff. So I am happy about that part. Um, Time's just got to slow down a little bit so that I can catch up with some stuff.
Well,
So
brother, it's going to get busy here the next couple of weeks. Spring
yeah.
practice in full
Oh
blast.
yeah. Yep.
Women's, men's basketball, baseball,
Yeah.
softball, all hitting at the same time.
I'm
And
not talking about them. I'm talking about my personal life, man.
oh yeah,
I've got
well, and you got your stuff going on too, and you're trying to
Yep.
follow that, man. It's hard to keep up.
Well, I got to figure out how I could, if I could drive students after dark for just a couple more hours and maybe cut down on my sleep at night, which if I do that very much more, I won't be sleeping at night at all. But I mean, I'm trying to figure out a way. I think I can do it, Jeff. I
Hey,
do.
this time next week we're gonna give you an extra hour of daylight time now.
Thank you, Lord. I am so looking forward to that. Um, I wish the president would do something, about doing away with that, man. That
Yeah, miss my hour of sleep next
yeah.
week.
All right. So next, of all the things we could be talking about, the next thing we're going to talk about is basketball. Man,
Yeah.
they finally broke that losing streak. So, um, got that win over Louisville, and I know a few were concerned near the end of that game. They hit some 3 pointers, which made it a little bit closer than it should have been probably. But I never really felt like we were not going to win that game yesterday. How about you? Did you get to? I know you said you were busy at that conference. So, um,
Well,
were
Freddie,
you able
that,
to see any
that was
highlight?
that was one of the things I was able to see. I caught about the last 10 minutes of the game, give or take,
Mhm.
here or there, between a couple sessions. So yeah, I did see that part, and I'm like you. I felt good when we had the big lead going into the last 4 or 5 minutes, and then what it
Yeah.
was 11, 12, somewhere in that range in the last minute. And that kid from Louisville, what he scored 17 points, but 11 of them in the last minute. That was unreal by itself.
I'm telling you, if somebody can figure out a way to keep players from having career days
Yeah.
versus us, we'll be a lot better off. I'm just saying.
It wasn't a career, it was a career minute for him, man.
It was.
It was a career minute. Uh,
You're right.
I mean, he trained what about three of those 3 pointers in that last, but that's
Yep.
neither here nor there. I said I think it was last week or the week before. I said that when we hit about 5 minutes, I start thinking, how many points will it take to win this game? And I was shooting. I said, if we can get to between 75 and 80, we're pretty solid.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting there a little
Yeah.
closer than I thought it would be. But yeah, that the guys they did a good job bouncing back. Um, I I look forward to this week. Just looking at the standings, it looks like Tuesday night at North Carolina is pretty much going to determine the double bye.
Mhm.
I think if we win Tuesday night and then I think it is Tuesday. It's either Tuesday or Wednesday. Now,
I'm-
whenever we go to North Carolina,
yeah. Um, I'm thinking it is too.
but
But
yeah, you want to get to that top four. I think the top four at least gives you a fighting chance to win the ACC tournament.
it
Um,
makes it that much easier. That's for
oh yeah,
sure. Um, you
so
know, I was impressed. I will say that. But at the same time, I was sitting here with the iPad, with the baseball game. Well,
mhm.
it kept switching. I kept going from the iPad with the baseball game, and then I'd go to I'd have my phone over here with the basketball game, and I couldn't see what was going on with the basketball game, so I would swap them out. So that got kind of interesting yesterday. I will say that.
Oh yeah,
But um, that was a good win, no matter how you want to look at it. They were in the top 25, and we came out and asserted ourselves, and that's what I was. I still feel like we should have already done that, if that
yeah.
makes sense.
That looked
But
like the 10-1 Clemson team that we saw go to California and win 2 games out there.
exactly, I
They
was
played
thinking.
some defense
Mm-hmm.
short of the last 2 3 minutes. I want to say at one point Louisville. I heard them say that they were 6 of 30 something, shooting about 17% from three, and they
Mm-hmm.
hit those few at the end and made the percentage look a little better. But that was the defense
Yeah,
that we saw earlier. Made some
suffocating.
shots. I want to say we ended up about 38% from three, and if we can make enough of those to keep it um, halfway balanced, then
That's right.
we got a chance to win some games. I hope
Yeah.
they'll come back Tuesday night and do something we hadn't done very much in North Carolina, get a win
Yeah.
and get that double bye and give us a chance to do something we've never done, which is win that tournament.
I feel confident we can beat them.
Yeah,
You know, and sadly, it depends on which team shows up.
yeah,
Um, Pre California, post California. You know,
yeah.
um, so gonna be interesting to see how because I do feel like this team has enough maturity on it that they, what I'm saying, that they know what they need to do, and that, they're gonna give themselves a fighting chance.
Hmm.
So that's the one good thing. All right, so told you a minute ago that I swap back and forth between basketball and baseball. For those that have been living under a rock, this weekend was the as Don Munson said in the broadcast today, and I've heard other people say it all weekend, the best rivalry in college baseball. Um, and other than that, I go back to the movie Super Troopers. When they walk out there and they're asking them about the target shooting and stuff. He says, "What about that little guy?" He says, "Don't worry about that little guy." That's what I'm going to say about Friday night. Don't worry about Friday night. This pitching staff, they shut them down pretty much the rest of the weekend. Um, you know, what'd you think?
But I want to say I saw the stat: 12 hits, 4 hits each game. Um, Friday night was a little bit of an anomaly, and that we hadn't played that way all season. It's gonna happen. This baseball, and their
Honestly,
kid was good Friday night. Now,
yeah, oh yeah. I don't think we've played that way in 2 seasons now. You
no,
know,
no,
I
I
mean,
agree with you. I can't remember one that rough.
like I told you earlier, before when we were getting ready for the show, I told you, you know, they asked me Friday night. I had so I said, "What happened? What happened?" Gamecock fans that are friends with me and Clemson fans that I said the only thing I can say that I can give a reason for the night is baseball.
Yeah.
It was baseball. I mean, you know, some nights you have those things. The
Hmm.
good thing about baseball as opposed to other sports is, if it's a weekend series, especially, you don't have to sit there and lull on it or, think about it for 2 or 3 days. The next day, you kind of have to get over it really quick, and um, that happened. Um, and I will give all credit to Sharman on Saturday for I think his outing gave us that injection that we needed at the time.
Yeah.
And he got the I'm trying to remember what name of the award. He got the award this weekend. Give me just a second, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's
Um,
the player of the series. I'm like, yeah,
yeah,
I can't remember what it is, but that was well deserved.
yeah. Oh, it was. It
I
definitely
I
was.
hadn't heard of anything like that. Like I said, I didn't get to watch Saturday because I was at the conference, but
Mhm.
for much of the time, and trying to follow basketball as well. But um, you throw what 78 pitches,
Mhm.
67 strikes. I
Yep.
mean that's Greg Maddox right there.
Complete
That's,
game, man.
I hadn't seen it since Greg Maddox.
I know.
Then I went back and looked at the box score and the play by play. I mean, he gave up 4 hits. Um, for him not walking anybody and not giving any free passes. Uh, the only way you're going to score is string hits together, and two of their
Yeah.
four, a double and a single, strung together to score the run. I mean, he's about as good as you could be.
The only knock on him during the game when I was watching and listening was that he wasn't striking a lot of people out like he had been all
Yeah,
season long. I'm like, okay, we'll take it. But he got the Bob Bradley Award. That's what
yeah.
it's called, and so well deserved.
Oh yes,
So,
yes,
you
definitely.
know,
Um,
I also, you don't want your coaches to get too much into, um, you know trash talk and stuff like that during a series and stuff. But I've got to admit, like I told you earlier, I loved Coach Bakic's comments after Saturday's game. You know, we're not celebrating like we just won the College World Series or anything. Next game's the biggest game, and so um, they also they also had a nice little and if anybody has, I'll go ahead and throw this out there. If anybody has a one of the rags that they had from today, I am really wanting one. I don't know how many they gave out, but they gave out rags today that had on them. It's just Kingsmore or it just no, I'm sorry, not it just Kingsmore. So I thought that was really cool. Would love to have one of those hanging up back here or at my
Yeah,
house.
that'd be nice. Uh,
Yeah.
you know the social media people at Clemson and people in those PR departments, they're pretty doggone good now.
Oh yeah.
That's about as good as you could ask for
Look
there.
here, and that's for a school that doesn't have a media school,
Oh yeah,
man. I mean, hey,
yeah. No journalism major, and
that's right. No
they're
journalism
breaking out
major.
stuff like that.
That's right.
That's pretty good.
Little Clemson's doing pretty good with the media,
Yeah.
though.
But
But
Dabo was ahead of the curve on all
oh
of
my,
that
oh
stuff
yeah.
with those
I'm
videos.
sure that I'm sure that there have been a many a conversations where they were like, Coach, I don't think you can do that.
Yeah,
And I feel like EB is a lot like that too. I feel like they look at him and go, "Hmm." I also was impressed with because I don't get to look at a lot of the post games and stuff like that,
yeah.
and they don't show a lot of it. But when they showed the alma mater being played today, he was actually singing along to the alma mater, and that was it tells you a lot about a coach. When I know everybody's like, as long as he wins, we don't care. I get that, but for me, I don't know about you, Jeff, but for me, when you see a coach that's that bought in and he's not out there just doing his own thing, it means more to me as a fan. So
Well, it makes him more relatable to us as fans.
very true.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, the the kid from the school there in Columbia kind of opened the door when you have those types of antics, and then you turn around the next day and you're not able to win. Yeah,
Yep.
you gonna get a dig thrown your way,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what Bakich did. But Bakich he's able to put a couple things together, and that's number one, winning. If he doesn't
Yep.
win, all that other stuff is fluff, and it doesn't mean a whole lot.
Yep.
But he does win. He does win. It seems like his kids do it the right way, and he does play to crowds and plays to audiences. You think about the way he set up the schedule this year. Um,
Hmm.
that Clemson baseball team is going to different places around the state and
Yep.
up in North Carolina, up in Georgia. I saw we're playing a midweek game in Charlotte,
Yeah.
playing a midweek game in Augusta, midweek game, of course, at Coastal in Conway, and then one in Charleston, and then the games in Columbia. So he does things like that, I think, to try to build some support and momentum for his program.
Yeah.
And when you add winning to it, man, that's a good combination.
Sure is. I mean, you know, we've seen it. I mean, winning makes things go a lot easier,
Oh yeah,
you know. And so, I there again, most Carolina fans that I talked to had us sweeping them this weekend.
yeah.
And I'll be the first to tell you, I was disappointed in Friday night, as disappointed as anybody could have been. But I also knew that the only thing that Friday night meant, and this was my feeling the whole time. The only thing that Friday night meant was we weren't sweeping them. I mean, that just sadly for them right now, they do not have the pitchers. Now they did a great job, you know what I'm saying? Because even today, both of the bullpens were still stocked. The difference is
Hmm.
our bullpen was, you could see it on display today and yesterday. Today, sorry. Um,
Yeah,
our bullpen was way better than theirs.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you know, and so it was also good to see Ty Daly, Ty Daly, I don't want to say his name wrong, but I am. See him finally get his first home run as a Tiger today. That monkey, I hope, is off of his back. Um, I'm hoping myself that we will see more of Savoy back behind the plate. Not, I mean, I like Gerald. I've got his autograph. I got a baseball with his autograph on it. But the same thing that we saw last year came back around. A series where he would miss balls that shouldn't have been missed, and
Hmm.
you know that's just not something that you can do. You know, and if you plan on making a deep run,
Yeah.
um, and so you know now his bat, I love his bat. So I mean, you know, and I was talking to somebody the other day. Matter of fact, yesterday I think it was, and the thing about Savoy being in behind the plate is you lose that arm in the outfield because we all know that Crichton's arm is not
Uh,
anywhere near what Savoy's arm is. But you know, if you're not having pass balls and you're able to get them, maybe you don't have to worry about that arm as much. Who knows?
Well, that is true. There's a trade off there. I do know this, and I agree with you that both of those bats need to be in the lineup from what I'm seeing. Uh, Both of those kids, they do an excellent job for the most part at the plate.
Yep.
Um, of course, Gerald with the power that he provides. Savoy, I mean he's been solid, very good these first 11, 12 games
Hmm.
we're into the season. So, and I think we'll see some things kind of shake out going forward. Um, you got a catcher, and um, you got two decent catchers. You want to keep them as fresh as possible because that will wear you down if
Yeah.
you're catching 4 or 5
Yep.
games a week. So,
Yeah.
and especially when it warms up and the weather gets a little warmer, yeah, you'll see some fatigue set in
Well,
during through the
and
season.
a lot of people don't realize that Savoy, from my if I remember it correctly, Savoy was brought in to take over because they thought that JJ was going to the major leagues.
Hmm.
They figured he was going in the draft, and when he came back, it's kind of a it was a win-win in a way, yes, but um, you know you got to figure out a way that you can win not just with the bat but defensively too, and it's one of the things that you're going to have to look at going forward. Um, I know I asked you earlier, and I'll ask you again. Um, Kana, is it something that we need to concern ourselves with, or how long before you do start a little, getting a little concerned about his outings?
Well, we got who LaSalle next weekend
Hmm.
series at home, and
Yep,
then the following weekend against Georgia Tech.
that's
Um,
right.
I want him to look like a Friday night guy when we roll out there against Georgia Tech. He needs to work through whatever it is and start to become that Friday night guy that we've seen in the past. You
Yeah,
know it's there. You just go through these stretches during the season. Hey, you look at it. If you're gonna have a rough stretch during the season, maybe it's better to have it at the
yeah,
beginning and be that be that number one. Really shine as a number one at the end of April, going into May and June for this crew. I think
it
they got a
look
chance to play a lot of games in June.
it's always better to do it against Bryant and Army than it is to do it against Georgia Tech and Florida State and the
Hmm.
rest of the ACC and all of them. Um, eh, the thing that, and like I said, the thing that concerns me the most is he's not. I mean, he's been consistently getting behind in the count, starting out behind in the count with batters, and that is just not a it's not something that we were used to begin with. But at the same time, it's a it's a leads to disaster. Let's put it that way. It,
Yeah, if that doesn't get fixed, yes,
it
Georgia Tech, um, they'll they'll punish you for being
oh
behind in the count.
oh yeah.
Most of the ACC teams will punish you for that. So
If you'd have
yeah,
told me he would be 0-1 after the South Carolina series, I'm talking about the
yeah,
season stats. Now I know that. Don't get me wrong. That's not saying that everything was on him. Okay, to this point, he's had no wins or losses if I looked at it correctly. Um, this weekend was the first one we weren't able to come back and get the lead after he left,
hmm
you know, um, or hold on and win the game. Um, he just hasn't had very much help, you know, with that kind of stuff. But at the same time, when you're a Friday night starter in college baseball, you expect more from them,
yeah.
and you know
Yeah, he's got to be that
that's right.
Friday night guy.
Yeah.
I think he's probably got the best combination of stuff on the team um,
Mhm.
from that regard, as far as throwing his fastball, then the change up and the
Yeah.
off speed stuff that he has is so effective. Um, he's just got to locate. Doesn't matter if you throw 96 like the kid from at school in Columbia today. I mean, he could run it up there with the best of them, but he's all over the place and doesn't locate well. Um, you've got 7 runs on the board. Even
It
though you do strike out a few batters, you still getting crooked numbers put up on you. That's not winning baseball. But Kanak's shown in the past that
yeah.
he can be that guy. He'll probably round into form here. Hopefully next weekend and going forward in ACC play and be our number one on Friday.
You said that I was watching the game today, and it was hilarious because they were. I'm serious. They were talking about, and if you go back and watch, anybody goes back and watches the game, they're going to see what I'm talking about here. They were talking about that same pitcher. He was talking about, he's really good, but he's shown that he's got control problems. He's had control problems this season, and it wasn't but a pitch or two later. He throws it to the backstop off to. I mean, and it was hilarious because the first thing I thought about was Major League whenever Wild thinking it just a bit outside, and the color analyst today for the show for the game said just a bit outside. I'm thinking I said, great minds, man, great
Oh
minds.
yeah,
But it wasn't even close. Jeff, that one was rough.
yeah.
It's-
But
but
a
you
couple
know,
free bases there, man. We'll take them, haven't
oh
we?
yeah, yeah. Well, and it was funny because they were talking about they were talking about during the game too that in that one inning we had a walk, an error, or I'm talking about
hmm
South Carolina. All right, they gave up a walk to Clemson. They gave up a hit by pitch and an error. The first three batters, all right, in that those three batters, they were talking about, man, this could be really really big if South Carolina can get out of this thing because they were down to 2 outs by this
Yeah,
time. They're like, it's not very often that you see the first three batters get on or with 1 out like that, those mistakes, and they don't come back to bite you. And the next thing you know, they score 2 runs off of it. So
yeah.
um, that's the one thing that I've been impressed with this team too. No matter what the situation has been, other than Friday night, um, they've chipped away and they've fought back and they've you know
hmm
you never can count this team out. Um, you know, and so that was the thing that I think kind of caught everybody off guard Friday night also was that, you know, it never came. Um, so and there again, we've said this before. Sometimes you need a loss like that, to get yourself refocused or get yourself focused better.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what was needed. So
Yep, it can happen quickly. I mean, you riding along and uh, thinking you're a little bit better than maybe what you are, and you don't need to focus. You don't need to come ready to play. You,
Yep.
you get humbled a little bit, then hey,
That
you
happened a couple times today in that game with South Carolina Clemson today. And they even talked about it. You know, you get two quick outs, and all of a sudden you got
mhm.
runners, in scoring position. I mean, you cannot, you know, can't fall asleep, and not expect for it to, come back on you a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Um, Softball, last weekend now, I was talking, that we were doing good as long as we didn't play SEC teams. We got an upset win over Georgia,
yep.
got an upset win over Mississippi State. Um, they did lose today. The streak was ended 2 days ago. I think it was Friday. Was it Friday?
Yeah, Friday had a brutal loss
Yeah.
to was it Southern Mississippi
So,
or I can't remember who it was, but to be ahead by I think it was 3 or 4 runs in the seventh and just give up with 2 outs, give up
7-3
what
going into the seventh, and you
six,
give
seven
up.
hits in a
Yeah,
row and end up losing 8-7. That was brutal.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but turn around the next day and beat Mississippi State, and
yep.
this group is kind of up and down at this point. Um, but Redmond, like I said, he's a good coach. He'll
Oh yeah,
he'll
oh
he'll
yeah.
round them into um, as
I
good
can
a
tell
team as they
you,
can be.
if you'd have told a number of people, um, 2 weeks ago that they were going to go on the streak that they went on and get the wins that they got, nobody, most people wouldn't have believed it. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's a testament to him. And they too seem to be, coming into form, if that makes sense. And you know, takes a little bit of time sometimes to get a team you know to react to the way you need them to. So, um, hey, eh, I will say this one thing: no matter what, just like tomorrow, just like yesterday, today was a great day to be a Tiger.
yes, it is.
So,
Yes, it
um,
is.
you
Yeah.
know, look forward to seeing what the rest of spring practice or what this week of spring practice holds. Um, look forward to seeing what the baseball team can do now that they've you know you know won this series and gotten that behind them. A few players got some monkeys off their back that they needed off of their
Yeah.
back. I hope that will spring some of them forward you know to continue to do better. Same thing with basketball. Got that losing streak, squashed hopefully, and um, we can get some more wins and set ourselves up to see what we can do in the ACC tournament. And can you believe that the basketball see? I mean, I'm gonna say the same thing about basketball that I've said about football. That the season is almost over. I mean, the regular season is
Oh
almost
yeah.
over.
It's practically done. The women's that season is over and
Yeah,
regular season. So yeah, I mean you 2 games. Need to get a W at North Carolina.
yeah.
Need to get that. I'd love to see them get that double bye, and see what they can do in the tournament. Make a three
You
game
know,
run, win it.
Papino's had a pretty rough loss today. I saw
Mhm.
um, that one hurt a little bit,
Yeah.
but he look in the time that he's taken to get them to where they're at, uh, it's still coming along. Um,
Yep.
you know, like you said, you said I think last week that him doing what he's done to this point will help out going forward.
Yep.
So,
Well,
and
they are, from what I saw, squarely on the bubble.
yep,
I saw a projected 10 seed, which puts you right at that last four in. I mean, you're
yeah,
living right there. Um, he needs to get this West Coast trip off their backs and get
yeah.
them ready to play in the ACC tournament. Probably need to win a game or so to solidify that.
I was thinking that too. I
Yeah.
was thinking that too. Well, y'all, it's 7:47 by our time. We're running a little bit over tonight again, but I I'd sit here and talk for another hour or two
I
about
could too,
what we've
man.
been talking about. Well, we had to cut some of this stuff short sometimes because we would continue talking. But y'all, look here. Like I said a little while ago, it's always great to be a Tiger. It's always a good day to be a Tiger. This weekend feels a little bit better because now we have. Let me count it out. Football in the state, check.
Yep.
Basketball in the state, check. Other than women's basketball, of course. Baseball in the state,
Yeah.
check. Next on the list is softball. And that should be a really good matchup. I know South Carolina was ranked the last time I looked at it.
Mhm.
Um, you know, so we'll see how that goes.
Pretty even
But
matchup. Go get them, girls.
there you go. There you go. And so, um, but as we always do, y'all remember to and I did not get to use it tonight, but um Miss Tammy Crow, if y'all need anything with logos and stuff like that, she is really, really reasonable. She helps you out. Um I told her the other day, I said, I know you getting tired of seeing me message you about having to have a new logo. I said, but we are hoping to have that finished up and you know ended in just a little while. We'll just continue going with the one we got. So, but she did a great job. I did not get to use it tonight, but you'll be seeing that coming up. Um, also remember what we talked about earlier. If y'all have a minute, shoot out a prayer for Hurricane Dwayne and his family, for continued health, you know, and well continued um, improvement in his health. Good guy. I'm hoping that I get to talk to him again um, really soon. So, but until the next time, y'all, go Tigers.
Go Tigers.